Hey, what's up, freaky people? My name is Abby, and this is the Aeropsia podcast. This is where I share whatever I've been working on. It's been about 84 years since my last podcast. In human time, I think that's probably 4 or 5 months. but I'm back, at least for the moment. I'm trying to be. To share what I've been up to. I think the only thing that I don't have to show you today is sewing. So it'll just be knitting and painting for today. But I do have quite a few things to show you, as you can see. And yeah, I'm glad to see you again. So grab whatever keeps you going and let's get started. I have 3 finished objects. I have 3 finished objects to share with you today and 2 works in progress for knitting. So my first finished object are these socks. Fold them as much as I can into the sock form. Now I'm not gonna block my socks. So these are the Petite Harbour socks. They're a free pattern. It's a free pattern. I don't remember if it had multiple stitch sizes or anything for the pattern. I really just used it for the stitch pattern. And I just did my own stitch count and my own heel and toe. I think it is written cuff down though, but it wouldn't really matter. Either way, you would just do the stitch pattern backwards. So, super happy with these socks. They fit really well. I think they're slightly too big, so I'm gonna try to go back down to I think 64 stitch count sock next, after the ones that I'm currently working on, because I didn't want to start over on those. But yeah, these, I don't know, they feel a little loose, or they felt a little loose, but not like loose enough that it would be bothersome at all. So I don't know. I feel like, we're all in between sizes, aren't we? But sorry, I'm pulling out pills, and I shouldn't be pulling out pills. But that gets me to the yarn. Was Leading Men Fiber Arts. This is the ball that I have left from the 100 grams. I did not weigh this. But I would say it looks like, I don't know, 30 grams, 40 grams, somewhere in there. I don't think it's quite 50. Because like, this is almost a 50-gram ball, so that's smaller. But anyway, Leading Men Fiber Arts. This is the Spotlight base, which is 80% superwash BFL and 20% nylon. 400 yards for 100 grams. And the colorway was Hello Gorgeous, like a gourd. Because it's got all these peachy colors. Yeah, there you go. There you can see the peaches. And teals and greens. And it is gorgeous. It's a gorgeous color. And it knits up into a gorgeous yarn. And it doesn't really have a white background. It is more of like a peachy color, because all of these speckles just kind of bled out to create sort of a neutral background, or maybe it was like undyed, I don't know. Or not undyed, but not pure white. So I got this yarn at YarnCon, and I was really happy because this year they had like a bunch of different breed specific yarns. So they might have last year, and I just didn't notice because I'm new. I'm new here in many ways. But yeah, so I noticed this year that they had lots of different breeds. Hey, Bun Bun. There's a bunny. Hi, Bun Bun. You can come say hi. That's Donna. Donna likes to come say hi. The door's actually open today, so she's really excited about that. And she always likes to come in and look at the paintings. Don't you? Yes. What's going on? And if they're like leaning up against something, she likes to go behind and dig. Hey, sweet baby. Look at that tubby butt. Look at that tubby butt. Look at you. You're so pretty. All right. If she's there bouncing around, that's okay. What was I saying? My only complaint is that I've only worn these like once, maybe twice. And it's pilled. I don't know if you can see. It's pilled significantly here on the heel. So not happy about that. I don't know if that's a BFL thing. I don't know if it's the way the yarn was spun. I think it's just a 2-ply. And it's not, yeah, it's just a 2-ply, and it's not super, it's not loosely spun, but it just doesn't seem that tightly spun. Really, if the back felts and doesn't get a hole, then that's kind of great. So I should probably stop picking at it and just let it go through its natural process of felting and becoming stronger. Hopefully, theoretically, we'll see. The sock experiments continue. So that's those socks, the Petite Harbour socks. The stitch pattern is really simple. It's a 4-row repeat, 4-stitch, 4-row repeat. It's really similar to the Hermione's Everyday Socks. I think it differs only slightly. This stitch pattern looks more uniform, so it creates like this kind of gridded, striped, pinstripe sort of pattern. That's really nice. And then the Hermione's socks are like more sporadic sort of dots. At least they look like they are. Obviously they are uniform because you're doing the same thing over and over, but it looks more, you know, messy. And so I will say, if you make a mistake in the Hermione's Everyday Socks, it's much easier to just, there's the other bunny. There's the other bunny. Are you digging? All right. Oh, babies. I'm so glad you came to say hi. This is like the best thing that could have possibly happened, really. I love it when they come visit. Breeds. Okay, this was the first time I used BFL and I did love it. No complaints there. It is sticky feeling, like that might, I don't know. I feel like it might be part of like the superwash thing that, like, I don't know, it just feels sticky to me in a way. I don't know how to describe it. I think other people have described it as like plasticky. But anyway, I like the yarn. So those are the Petite Harbour socks. Next, I finished, sorry, I did block it, but you know, I've worn it since then. So this is the scarf number 1 from My Favorite Things Knitwear, and it's knit in Knit Picks Cotton in the linen color. I bought one of these and that was not enough, and so I bought a second one. They're each 123 yards. It's a DK weight, 70% cotton, 30% linen. Is that right? Yes. And I used 1.5 skeins. So I have half a skein here. And they're 50 gram balls. And it's beautiful. And it's a really simple repeat. It is like 12 rows or something like that. But a lot of it's just garter. And then you have like the one lace row. So it goes really fast. You can wear it 2 ways. I did the shorter size, the bandana version, not the scarf version. So it only wraps around once, and you can wear it like the Scout, or you can wear it like the Bandit, or the Cowboy, whatever you want to call it. And I do prefer the Scout, actually, on me. I have like a short neck. So yeah, anything that I can do to not totally cover up my neck is a good idea. And I just have been wearing it like this. And I have worn it even though it's summer and it's warm. It's really nice to wear in the air conditioning. When you're wearing like shorts and a t-shirt and you have like just a slight chill, because there's just always this slight chill but your skin's still hot and it's just not great. Summer is not my favorite. It's just too warm. And it hasn't even been that warm this summer, in all honesty. It's just, I don't like warm weather. Okay, so I do plan to knit more of these because it's really pretty and easy. And I'll probably do the scarf size next, which wraps around twice. And I think I'll do that one in like a silk so that it's more, so it has more drape. And this one really, you know, I would think it's a DK weight so it wouldn't have like that great of a drape, but it does. I think it's nice. It's, I don't know. It's cotton and linen. I feel like the linen is what gives it more drape. And I appreciate that. And then my last finished object for knitting is really exciting. I talked about this a lot, but I don't think that I had actually started it. I had swatched for it. I'm super excited, can you tell? So I finished my first sweater. This is, it's the Lyon sweater that I talked to you about forever and a million times. And it's finished. It has some mistakes, for sure. But it overall went way better than I could have possibly expected. And it fits exactly how I would like it to fit, which is really what matters, isn't it? Yeah. So let's talk about it. About this sweater. Okay, this is the Lyon sweater by Petite Knit. It calls for, what does it call for? So it calls for what it says are 2, or at least what Ravelry says are 2 lace weight yarns. I don't know. Whatever Sunday is, which I thought was a fingering, and they're saying that it's more like a lace. And then the other option, and 2 strands held together. I don't know if I said that. And then the other option is to hold 1 Sunday with a mohair, which is, I've never knit a sweater with 2 strands held together, not yet. but I did swatch for some the other day. And somehow those two very skinny yarn weights are supposed to make up like a DK to a worsted weight. More on the worsted weight side, and it does. I don't really understand how. But whatever. Anyway, so yeah, it calls for 2 strands held together, but I just did 1 strand of, so it called for 2 strands held together. I just did 1 of the Dishy, Knit Picks Dishy. This is 100% cotton. It's, I think, the only yarn that they sell in a cone, and yeah, highly recommend knitting a sweater from a cone if you can, because there's less ends to weave in, especially considering that this was cotton and not wool, because if it was wool then I could just like spit splice it and not have to worry about the ends that way. I don't think you can spit splice cotton. I'm not going to try because it's not going to work. I know it's not going to work. That's not how cotton works. But it feels amazing. I do love it. I wanted to make a cotton sweater first because I was going to be knitting it in the summer, and I didn't want to have wool sitting on my lap in the middle of summer. And I was right about that. Good job me thinking ahead. Yeah, and it is blocked. It took a million years for this thing to dry. It literally took 3 days after soaking in the tub and then me like rolling it out with a towel, like squeezing it out with a towel. And then I laid it flat on my blocking mats, and then I think I left it there for like 2 days and it wasn't drying. So on the 3rd day I put it on like the top rack of my like clothes drying rack, which is flat. It has like a bunch of bars, so it's flat on top, and this just draped over the edge just a little bit, and then it finally dried. So I will probably wash this in the washing machine next time, and then the spin cycle will bring it out a lot more, and then I'll be able to hang it to dry, and it will dry a lot faster, because that's too long to wait for something to dry. It's ridiculous. Especially like, you know, a clothing item that needs to be washed occasionally. Hi, baby. What's he doing? What's he doing? Oh, sweet girl. But yeah, it feels really nice on my skin. It was really nice to knit with, actually. It's pretty tightly spun. I don't know. It's too bright. It's too bright for you to see it. Maybe you can see it just down here. Like that. Anyway, it's pretty tightly spun. It's, how many plies? 3? It's a 3 ply. And it is, I think this is also the linen color. Yep. This is also linen, and I bought way too much. I used about half of this cone, a whole other cone, and none of the 2 balls, the 2 50-gram balls that I bought. So I have probably enough to make like a t-shirt, I think, which would be nice, I think, for the fall. To have something, basically this, I think I would do this exactly, and then just do short sleeves, probably about here, halfway down the arm, and do like the same, I don't know, decreases or whatever, the same width for the arm. So it's all in stockinette. Bubby, don't chew that. So it was a pretty easy pattern for a beginner. I'm a beginner for sure. And like I stalled in places where I was doing something new, like picking up stitches here. I stalled in certain places, and that's why it took me so long to finish, but that's okay. there was a significant difference between my gauge in the flat, my flat gauge and my round gauge. I think it's becoming less obvious with wear, although you can still see it. So maybe it's just because I am wearing it and I can't really see it, because it's just right here. And then it's normal. But that's okay. It looks like a design feature. It doesn't really look like a mistake. My sleeves laddered a little bit for some reason. I don't know really why. Because I was pulling where I should be pulling, and I don't normally ladder. So I don't know what that's all about, but it doesn't really matter, because except for like right here where you can still sort of see it when you pull on it, but then when you don't pull on it, it like goes away. The ladder's blacked out. Super cool. The collar was knit doubly long, extra long, whatever, and then folded in and knit down, and I love that so much. Oh my god. Let me tuck this in for a second so you can see. Sorry, it looks terrible. But this neckline, it's nice and thick and squishy, and because you didn't like cast on or bind off there, it's nice and stretchy, and it doesn't need an elastic, because I will not put an elastic in the neck of a sweater. It's defeating the purpose of wearing natural materials. But yeah, so I love that feature, and will totally use it on other things whether they have it or not, because it's fantastic. And I don't like how flimsy a lot of necks for sweaters look, because they're just like single. I thought it was going to be double knit like the whole way, like a slip one, knit one, double knit, like that kind of thing. But it was not. It was like knit, normal, ribbed, normally, whatever. And then you fold it in. Whatever. I like it. I don't care what it is. It looks gorgeous. I wish the cuffs were the same. I did what she said to do, which does look nice, I will say. It doesn't look bad. And that has like it's an Italian bind off, which if you're gonna do a single, single rib, that's the way to go. It does look nice. I can't tell you really how stretchy it is, but I mean, it seems stretchy. I don't know. But I made a mistake because I started doing the double knitting at the beginning of one cuff, right there, for a couple rows or a row, and then I realized I wasn't supposed to do that until the end. And then on this side, I did it right, correctly. And there you can see a little ladder. But yeah, so the Italian bind off wasn't so bad. I thought it was going to be really awful. I did do it on the bottom hem too. And what I will change the next time I knit this or something like it, because I am knitting something like it but not exactly it, but maybe I'll get frustrated with that and tear it out and then just knit this again. I don't know. Or I'll talk about it in a minute. So yeah, what I would do next time is knit this sleeve edge cuff. I knit the cuff double and then fold it in and knit it down the same way that you do with the neckline, to see how that looks, because I think it would look really puffy and chunky and nice. And I did bracelet length sleeves because I have short arms, and yeah, I don't like things being in my way. If it's like an oversized cozy thing, that's fine, but this was not intended to be that. This was intended to just be like a casual sweater that I could wear anytime with anything. And so it's also slightly more cropped than she had it. The sleeves are slightly shorter and it's slightly cropped. Very slightly, like an inch. So it hits at like my hip bone. I did the pattern from the cast on edge down through, I don't know, like half the body or so. And then I went and did the sleeve, or no, I did that, sorry. And then I went and did the neck line, see, and then I did the sleeves. And I did it this way so that I would know where everything was gonna sit when I tried it on as I was going, because with this pattern it doesn't start with the neckline, it starts just below, and I knew that if I was trying it on without the actual neckline, it wasn't gonna sit the same way, it wasn't gonna move the same way. So I did that, and I'm glad I did. Yeah, I did the neck and then the sleeves, and then I went back and finished the body. And really, once I joined it in the round, this thing flew by. Like, once I had everything all set up in this yoke area where all of the difficulties can happen, it was done in like 2 weeks. I told Ian I was gonna finish in 2 weeks, and then I did. So yeah, this is done. This is the Lyon sweater. I'm super happy with it. I will knit another one because it's a really great general raglan sweater, worsted weight, where you can hold whatever number of yarns together you want. That's what it looks like, folded. Here's, okay, yeah, you can still see how this part that I knit flat is different from where it joins in the round down there. Just so you see what that looks like. And I'm in love with it, and it's super heavy because it's cotton, obviously, and I like that. I like heavy clothes. Okay, no more about that sweater. I'm super happy about it though. Alright, so next we have in progress vanilla sock. Sorry, that looks really messy. In progress vanilla sock. I'm doing a 1/2 inch 1x1 rib in the treasure color that I have left from Ian's socks. I have another ball of, I think it was blue steel heather from Knit Picks. These are both stroll. Yeah, because I really wanted a pair of socks in this color, and then Ian liked the color, so of course I needed to make him a pair. Yeah. It's so pretty. Yeah, I'm just doing the vanilla because otherwise I'll get them confused with Ian's socks, and then we'll be wearing each other's socks and they're not quite the same, and he'll stretch mine out, and we're just gonna do a different pattern, even though I really don't want vanilla socks. I just don't want like any way that we can confuse them. I was really excited when I finished my sweater, so I wanted to immediately start another sweater, obviously. I feel like, isn't that how everyone feels? I'm not gonna bother turning this the right way out because it's basically the same anyway. But I started the September sweater by Petite Knit, which is a very similar construction to Lyon sweater. It's not exactly the same, which might just be because of the stitch counts for the brioche, I don't know. But either way, it's very similar but not exactly the same. I love the brioche stitch. It's just so good. It's so squishy. It's so nice. Yeah. So this is the front and the back. I knit the front slightly too long. I don't know how I managed it. I didn't measure, and I should have just measured more often than I did. So whatever, but that's fine. It doesn't really matter. My real problem is I'm not joining it in the round correctly, and I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. So I fucked it up once, and I tore it back, and I put in a lifeline, and then I went back and tried again, and I fucked it up again. So I don't know if you can, yeah, you can totally see there at the bottom where the brioche stitch does not continue the way it's supposed to. So that's really frustrating. So I'm gonna have to rip it out again, and I'm gonna have to rip it out a little bit further back because yeah, the stitches aren't gonna be as crisp because I already picked them up. And then like, I was really frustrated with myself because I started knitting, kept knitting, whatever. Is that the back? Anyway, yeah, what was I saying? I started knitting. Sorry, there's a hole. This one has many more mistakes, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's my second sweater, and it's the first one I'm doing in a stitch pattern, so it's fine. But I do need to rip it back so that I can actually join it in the round correctly, so there's not a weird thing going on that doesn't make any sense and that does not look like a design element at all. Yeah. So I'm just a little frustrated. But I got, it's really frustrating because like they got this far so quickly. And if I could just figure out the joining in the round part, then I would finish it really quickly because the brioche stitch pattern is like not complicated or anything. It's a lot of fun to do actually. I really enjoy it. And I would just like it if I could figure out joining in the round. But things like that are difficult for me, and I have to like be patient and remember that this is the first time that I'm doing this, and it's a three-dimensional thing. And I'll check Petite Knit's website and see if she actually has a video about this, or if YouTube does, because I'm just not getting it from the written instructions. Yeah. But it's kind of getting too warm to work on it because now it's this size and it's like sitting in my lap and touching me and scratching my legs and stuff, and so I have to like put a blanket on, and it's a whole thing. So really, I think once I do have it successfully joined in the round, I'm gonna like set it aside until it cools off anyway. That's being knit in Wool of the Andes, the 100% Peruvian Highland wool, non-superwash. This color has been discontinued. It was evergreen, I think. It's either evergreen or Aurora Heather. One of them they still have, which I think is Aurora Heather, and then the other one is discontinued, and that's the evergreen. I like the evergreen better. I have both. The evergreen is slightly more green than the Aurora Heather, and the Aurora Heather is like a little more blue. But either way, whatever. They're both nice dark green colors. You just can't get the one that I have. And that's, I don't know, you know, it's never a totally accurate color representation, but that's close. It does come across, I think, a little bit more blue on camera than in person. Just kind of more because it like shines the closer you get. Yeah. It's a really nice color. I do like it. And I did go down a needle size for the September sweater, not because I didn't get gauge with the larger needle size, because I think I actually did, but because I liked the fabric more. It was just slightly more compact and scrunchy, and I don't think that's going to affect the fit like at all. It'll be fine, because this, I think this sweater has like 10 inches of ease or 6 inches of ease, something like that. So there's room. And then also, you know, it's a ribbed pattern, so it like stretches more. So that's all for knitting. I don't have any sewing to show you today, and I'm gonna talk to you about some paintings. So I have 4 paintings to show you today. 2 are finished, 2 I'm still working on. There might be some you haven't seen because it's been so long. I'm not really sure, and I'm not gonna go back and watch my own videos to find out. Sorry. If you missed them, you miss them, it's fine. I have a website where you can see all of my finished paintings, just not these 2 because I haven't put them up yet. So rather than risk showing you the same thing twice, I'm just gonna plow ahead. Okay, so first there are these 2 of Ian's beautiful face. And I was intending to do 4 like I did of myself, but I don't know. I started work on the 3rd one and I'm not loving it. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll finish it, maybe I won't, I don't know. And then I haven't even started the 4th, so yeah, you know, but there's 2 and that's what's important. And so these are both whatever combination of watercolor, gouache, ink, pastel, whatever that got squeezed out of the tube that day. And I'll give you guys a close-up of some of my favorite parts so that you can see what's really going on here. I looked up Jasper John's American flag painting the other day, and I was reminded that it was actually encaustic and it's like receipts and shit, and not just, you know, a painted American flag, which in my mind it's always a painted American flag. And yeah, that's silly, because it's not. But yeah, that's why close-ups are important, because you really can't see what's going on here from this far back. It looks, they don't photograph well. That's all I'll say. They look much better in person. So mostly I create pools of water and then I add pigment to that. And at the very end I do like a little drawing to add definition and enhance certain areas. So, as you can see, there's a lot of room for chance and variability here. I just let Jesus take the wheel, so to speak. So, we're gonna try to get in on this ear. It goes down the neck. And this is like sort of brush strokes, but not really. And then we have like the nose, and the eyes are always fun. They usually have a lot going on in them. And yeah, and the hair is like, I think on both of these actually, it's like these metallic-y strokes, and that's where I did actually do strokes. And it's sort of supposed to seem like the background is spilling into the foreground. They're mixing, they're one thing. And then here's the other one. Let me get out of the light, if that's at all possible. Ooh, this terrible angle. God, they're so hard. So here's his crazy looking eyes, because I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on with them. But they look fantastic. And then we've got this nice color on the nose and the lips, and here's the cheek and chin hair, the neck. And I really like the neck, chest area on this one. I think it turned out really well. It's got lots of water splotches and things. And then he's also got like some gold hair strokes here. Yeah. So those are both in, those are both done. And then we have this one, which is like a more, you know, a further out picture. It's still Ian. It's also much more interesting close up. It's very spotty and pointillist, and I'm really liking the, oh, if I can get you to see it. Oh my god. Yeah, you can sort of see it. The pastel drawing on it, I think, is really effective. It's very squiggly. It's almost done. I have to fix his neck here. It sort of ran away all on its own. It needs to be a little bit thinner. And then I just need to put in some kind of body and probably his arm. But I think that this one is actually interacting with the background way better than the other ones, which has been my issue. I don't want them to like look like it's just a face plastered on top of a background. That's not what I'm going for. You can see maybe the texture. The texture is so good. So good. Yeah, I like that. So that's the other one of Ian. It's almost done. I have to finish his body. This is like a scene, a living room scene. It's not quite finished. I have to finish the foot. I don't know. I have to work on it more. I don't really know exactly what I have to do other than the foot, but something needs to happen. But I painted the first foot that I've ever been happy with on the right and then on the left. And it looks like that. But if I can get it to look somewhat like the one on the right, then I will have painted feet successfully for the first time in my life. And there's the leg. It needs some work too. Something on the floor, I don't know, to indicate that it's a floor. So yeah, this is just an experiment, painting an environment rather than just a portrait. And yeah, other than the foot, I'm not overly excited about it, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's an experiment. They're all experiments. We never know how these things are going to turn out, do we? That's all I have to share with you today. Thanks for hanging out. I'm glad you had some time to spend with me. And I hope you get to do whatever keeps you going today. See you later.